Welcome, everybody, to the By the Railside podcast. First time we're actually streaming the podcast live while also recording it. If you happen to want to catch it live, interact with us in the Twitch chat while we're doing that. You can join us over at twitch.tv/bytherailside. Looks like we already got Marissa in the chat letting us know that she's there. You can also follow us on Instagram and Twitter at By Railside for Twitter and By the Railside on Instagram. And we do have a nice little Discord as well that you can interact with us. So, this week with us today, we've got on the mic Jeff.
That's me. I have a mic.
Jeff will be your main source in chat. He'll probably be reading it, letting us know what you guys are saying if I'm not able to catch it. And also in chat and with us on the mic is Jordan.
Hey!
So we're the main three. We're hoping to have someone else return to us very soon, but
for now,
right.
We're the three best friends that anyone could have.
That is true. The three best friends.
Apparently no one wants to sing with me tonight. All right, fine.
No, we're the three best friends that no one likes. Oh, yeah. Fuck. Okay. Next topic, probably The Hangover, so Jeff understands it.
The whole topic's The Hangover?
Yeah. It's The Hangover movies. There's three of them. We'll watch some hungover.
I've seen the first one.
Yeah. That's where it's from.
Is it?
Oh, my God.
I just don't understand how you can get, like, that much content out of a hangover.
Yeah.
Or, like, you don't learn your fucking lesson.
It's bad. But, oh, yeah, that's for another time. This week, we will be reviewing Captain America. So it is a very first start for our MCU review. The reason why we're doing an MCU review is because when Endgame came out, me and Jordan were super pumped about it. It was an unreal watch. Fantastic. And then Jeff and Justin went to go and see the movie, and they had so many questions about the movie. One of them being brought up, I can clearly remember, is why is it when Captain America picks up Thor's hammer, it can all of a sudden summon lightning? You would understand that reference if you watched the first Thor. But because they've missed out on so many, and they're such good films, we're making Jeff watch all of them. And we're going to spend extra time on the Ant-Man ones because we know it's his favorite.
I've been studying actual science.
Yes.
You can't even read. How did you study science?
They have it on audiobooks, fool. You ever heard of Albert Einstein?
You got the good one, did you? The one
I got the really free ones.
So the very beginning of that, we're doing chronological order. Of the MCU. So the very start is obviously Captain America, First Avenger, because that starts in 1942 when Captain America defeats the Red Skull.
Spoilers.
Right, sorry.
Fights the Red Skull.
Fights him.
Delete the VOD.
Oh, yeah. So at the beginning of the podcast, we've actually started doing a brand new segment called What Do We Think Jeff Rated the Movie? This one, I'm going to go with a 4.5. I'm going to think 4.5 for Jeff's rating. Reason being is it had a decent enough amount of action. I think it gave a little bit to care about the character, the few characters that were in it. I know he hates when you put love scenes in an actual movie. There wasn't too much science in it other than the super soldier serum, so I think he's going to say 4.5.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you not see the levitating car? Granted,
I'll have you know,
for a few seconds, but there's nothing like that in today's technology.
Yeah, I'm starting to think that this Stark guy's a fraud.
He did say a few years.
Yeah, he did. Granted, that's why you always give him like a long timeline, because then if you deliver exactly on that timeline, you're a man your word. But if you deliver ahead of the schedule,
yeah,
you're just.
And if you never deliver, you just hope people have forgotten about it.
I changed my name and I moved to Puerto Rico. You think my real name's Jordan?
No, it's Stunkley.
Stunkley Crumpston.
What do you think Jeff's gonna rate it there, Jordan?
I'm gonna have to go with Marissa on this one. She said she's gonna guess 5, and I'm gonna go with a 5 as well.
Yeah.
I feel like there was enough in the movie that he would have enjoyed, because there wasn't a whole lot of stuff that I think would have bugged him in the movie, from some of the other ones. Obviously, there's gonna be some things that he's not gonna be happy with, but yeah, I think he's gonna go with a 5. There's a solid middle ground. He would watch it again if someone else put it on, but he probably wouldn't put it on himself.
Yeah.
I'd like to defend myself real quick. Okay?
No. I will explain before you go to defend yourself. Jeff will never rate a movie a 10. We have determined this. Apparently, there is no such thing as a perfect movie, even though he's a liar.
Less Miserables.
Yeah. Hugh Jackman's.
I've never seen that, so okay.
Toy Story.
But in giving a movie a
Shrek
10, you're saying it's perfect
Shrek
and that a movie can never be better than that. That it's the pinnacle and everyone else might as well stop making movies because you'll never be able to improve upon it. And that's why I don't give things a perfect score.
I think that you
He's
can
wrong.
with movies, though, because, like, it's different. Like, if I bake the world's best pie 10 out of 10, there could still be other pies. Like, because it's maybe I baked an apple pie, but what about cherry?
That's true.
There's different flavors, right? And then different genres.
And I do think that's where our biggest differences are comparatively. For the most part, I just look at a movie as a movie. Like there's one singular movie, even if it might be in like a trilogy or something like that. Like it's that movie, and that's what I rate. Whereas when you start getting into comparison, like it's hard, like apples to apples type deal, because there's always going to be a movie that does one thing better, and then the other one does the other thing. So that's where I think we determined that we've differed on our ratings. But yes, the highest Jeff will ever rate a movie is a 9. And if we get a 6 out of them, like we're popping chubbies. Like it's amazing. That's a great day. But since we've guessed all our stuff, let's see what Jeff had to say about Captain America: The First Avenger.
I want to defend myself real quick.
Okay, you defend yourself.
You said I don't like romance in a movie. While generally speaking, that's true. It's generally because it's like a forced thing that serves no purpose to the movie whatsoever. It's just like, look, this person's a person. Look, they also have romantic interests. And that's generally why I don't like it. If it's relevant to the movie and if taking it out of the movie would have changed the outcome, then I'm fine with it. That's like, if you could take the whole relationship like arc out of the movie and it wouldn't change the outcome or affect any part of the movie whatsoever, then it's just forced bullshit and I hate it.
So you probably hate Indiana Jones because if you take Indiana Jones
I've never watched it.
out of the Lost Ark, it's the same outcome.
Yeah, no matter what, he has no impact on the film. Because either, what was it? They find him, they kidnap him, they open the chest, they die, or he's not involved at all. They find the chest, they open the chest, they die.
Yeah.
Sounds like terrible movies, so sure.
It's not terrible,
That
it's pointless.
Yeah.
It's totally different.
On the opposite end, there's movies like Captain America, where there's the relationship aspect in it, and it does have an effect on the end of the movie. And the only effect it had on the end of the movie was them using her falling in love with Steve or whatever to break rules and all that stuff. It's the exact opposite of the spectrum. She's basically the only female in the entire movie, and her entire role is just to fall in love with him so that he has military access. That's the only reason she's in the movie.
Yeah, and I think to give him sort of a not a flaw, but like that something wrong. Like most superheroes, they're great, but there's always that one thing that sort of like almost to ground them in reality. Whereas you're just like, hey, this dude can literally chuck cars and lift motorcycles and seems invincible. But then you get that near the end of the movie um, when he wakes up in modern day New York, and you could see on his face like there's that shock, there's that awe of like holy crap, like where am I? And then his last line is, "I was supposed to have a date." And you could see that in his face, so I think it helps ground the character and make it a little bit more relatable in that sense. But yeah, in this movie, if you took that out, for sure, I definitely agree. Like the outcome would be different.
Yeah, I think they should have done one or two things with that. They should have either A, not been like only one track mind kind of Hollywood that they are, and instead of having like her love interest, have him not romantically attached, but just more attached to Bucky and make that whole arc actually do. Because he had like one scene after Bucky died where he was like, "Man, Bucky died," and then that was it. It's like, what the fuck? You could have done the whole emotional arc with his best friend. They could have been inseparable and just taken the whole, hey, we have this chick in it out altogether. Or they could have put more women in the movie to make it less obvious that she is just a plant for that, right? Like, the only other woman in the movie was the one that, like, randomly kissed him to make that one jealous. Like, the chicks have more roles in movies than just the romantic interest. Just stop being so offensive and just do it properly.
To be fair, that chick was Natalie Dormer, and she is a smoke show.
Also,
I
to
have
be
no
fair,
idea who that is.
she was a secret agent. Like she wasn't just like some lady. She wasn't some dame in a skirt. Yeah. She was a higher ranking military officer.
Yeah, Agent Carter.
Granted, I mean, for the times,
that goes against everything she's ever been taught, and all, like, she even said that she's had to go through so much red tape and had doors closed on her because she's a girl. And then the moment that she, like, even remotely starts to feel romantic for this guy, goes against everything she's been trained to do and reinforces why they put so many doors in front of women, because they don't want, and that's like the whole stereotype is they're like, oh, they're gonna fall in love with the men and then they're just gonna break all the rules and whatnot. They just like extremely reinforce the reason why women have such a hard time doing stuff.
All right, so the romantic part of the movie was
awful.
Jeff's got a problem with. What about the rest of the movie? Because it's not all romance. Sometimes it's a shirtless Chris Evans, and I know you like dudes.
I mean, that was fine. I wonder, like, with the whole serum thing, this is a science fiction movie more than a fantasy, I'd say, because they didn't really talk about the Tesseract. Like, I know what the Tesseract is because I have seen some of the other superhero movies, so I know what it is. But I do wish they went into at least a little more of what the Tesseract is. They're just like, we found a cube, we put it in a machine, we've got laser blasters now, when I know it's just like a source of potential energy and they're just basically farming energy and then using it as lasers. I wish they would explain that a little bit more, so people who you don't have to watch movies that are to come to know, like, where the bad guy's power is coming from. They're just like, well, there was a square in a wall and I guess they're all powerful now. And I don't know who hid the fucking Tesseract, but whoever hid it in the Yggdrasil walls, just like, okay, we're going to make a part of the roots, and we're going to make those roots a snake, and that's where we're going to hide the Tesseract. It's going to stand out like a sore thumb, but I'm sure no one will think about it.
It was somewhat hidden snake.
Not really. It was so poorly made. Like I wrote a note about that because the seal on the wall, like, normally it would be actually sealed. You wouldn't be able to see it, but it's like you could very clearly tell there was a box shoved in the wall.
Yeah,
what the fuck?
That made me laugh. Like, that was so bad it was comically bad. So, another thing, like, okay, I'm gonna get it out of the way at the beginning. I do have a lot of complaints about the movie, but overall, yeah, Marissa and Jordan are in the right ballpark. It's like a 5.5. I wouldn't, like, overly hate it if someone put it on, but there is a lot of little things that I'm going to pick at because that's what I do.
Yeah. Good thing you don't do
math. Near the beginning, they wanted to, like, really reinforce that Chris Evans wasn't fit for the military and whatnot, and they kind of went with the sick route. because they had that like rap sheet of everything that was wrong with him. Did you guys read that rap sheet?
A decent amount. I saw like scarlet fever, asthma, and I didn't read it fully, but yeah.
Asthma, scarlet fever, rheumatic fever, sinusitis, chronic colds, high blood pressure, heart palpitations, easily fatigued, heart trouble, nervous trouble of any sort. I don't know what that even means.
Anxiety.
Household contact with TB, and parent/sibling with diabetes or cancer. Uh, so, I wish they played up the sick part more than the small part, because like mostly because of how he dressed. I think he dressed really like all his clothes are way too baggy, and I know they're trying to make it seem like he's just like this tiny guy, but you can still get clothes that fit you even as you're a tiny guy. But if you're sick, then you could be losing weight or whatnot. And they're always like, oh, he has chronic colds and whatnot. He didn't seem sick at all in the beginning. He was just like, I'm small and short. And I do kind of wish they played up the sick part a little more, but I mean, it's not a huge deal. As for the science part of it, the like insta steroids, I don't have a problem with the insta steroids. It's just like science fiction, whatever. The only problem I have with the insta steroids is they made his bones grow. And I know they're like, oh, it changes you at like the cellular level or whatnot. Do you know how just fucking broken you would be if your bones just grew like a foot and a half in like 10 seconds? Your entire body would just like collapse on itself. So I wish they just went from skinny to big instead of like small and skinny to big. But I mean, what can you do? Right? It's just whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, that one is a little tricky, but come on, you can't deny that the line of how do you feel taller is just, you can't deny that it's not just a great line.
That's a fantastic line.
Yeah.
Also, I get how he got taller, because like if he has been sickly, assuming his entire life, like because you don't see where it was or when it was that he was getting like all those colds or everything on his rap sheet, right? So it could have been like when he was a kid and maybe he's underdeveloped, and maybe that's what happened. Like his the serum just allowed his body to finish puberty finally.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, he was fucking screaming, and I think that like once he got the milk rays or whatever, the Vita rays,
Yeah.
which I'm assuming is just milk that has been turned into light.
Oh, it's Flintstone vitamins.
It's the fucking 40s, man. There wasn't Flintstone
They had
vitamins.
penicillin.
There was no Flintstones.
Penicillin vitamins.
Penicillin did not make that. He got shot before they even closed the thing. It was the Vita rays, a.k.a. God milk,
Yeah.
that made him grow. I don't...
Super calcium?
Yeah, I really want to know what the fuck Vita Ray is, so I'm going to Google it. Because it's such a random thing. Like, that, I thought Jeff honestly would have said something about that. Because, like, Super Soldier Serum, like, okay, you know exactly what that is. It's a serum to make super soldiers, so you're like, okay, steroids, you just think about what's in that. But Vita Ray, it's just a ray that... Vital?
I mean that's pretty standard in science fiction. They just throw some like random sciencey sounding words together, and they're like, "That's why," right? And that's how science fiction gets away with a lot of things. It's when they start giving like actual specifics that science fiction starts to break down, which is why I have a problem with Ant-Man. Ant-Man, they try and like actually explain why he's shrinking, and it just doesn't work, right? Whereas this one, they're just like super steroids with vitamin rays, and he's big, and you're just like, oh, that sounds stupid as hell, but you haven't given me anything to actually refute this, right? So
yeah, I guess it go like the comics probably go into way more detail with everything like this. Yeah, because I did look it up, and it's Vita radiation, or Vita ray, is the electromagnetic radiation with a specific wavelength that has stabilizing properties. So, like I said, it's just milk that's been turned into light.
Yeah.
There was another thing you said, and I wanted to refute it, but I can't remember. I think it was like
it was just that I wish he was sicker rather than just small, was one of the things I said.
Yeah. I didn't really have an issue with that, like, because just looking at the guy, you could tell that either something in the past was very wrong, or something is currently very wrong. Like, he's very thin. I think they had a hard time showing it as much as they could have because they couldn't really use the face properly. Like, watching it today, it looks honestly it looks like shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's one of my notes. Main character's head looks like it doesn't belong on his body.
Yeah, it's definitely. I think you actually see the guy. I think later on in the movie, I think he's either a bartender in one of the bars that they're in, but they put that character actually in the movie somewhere. The guy whose body the double they use.
Oh, the body double guy.
So that's a neat part. But yeah, it definitely at the time, like having that, it looked unreal. I think like later on we'll see with Endgame with Robert Downey Jr. I don't know if he actually got that thin, but when he comes off the planet or off the spaceship after being out in space for a while, you see sort of like the same. It looks almost like the same kind of style that they tried to use.
It's the same guy and everything.
Yeah. We just needed a skinny piece of shit. Oh, I'm your guy.
Skinny Pete, get over here. We got another role.
How do you think, like, do they advertise something like that, or do they just, like, cruise the streets of LA and be like, hey, there's a junkie that looks like Tony Stark? It's just fucking, come get your cocaine.
There isn't a shortage of junkies in LA, I'm sure.
But like I was saying, because they couldn't use, because they used CGI of Chris, whatever his name is, face. So they couldn't actually show like how gaunt he would have actually looked.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see them go back and re-edit everything. To be honest, I'd like them to, like, because they have a lot more technology now than I'd say when this movie came out. Even though it's only been like 10 years, not even.
Yeah.
They could definitely do a better job, like you were saying with Tony Stark, like if that was actually him or a body double.
Yeah.
But they could definitely go back and re-edit it. Like, it wouldn't take. I don't think it would take that much effort. But then again, I know nothing about animating.
Yeah, like I said, the whole sickness thing, that was just a preference. That's not, like, a negative to the movie. I didn't take any points away for that one. That was just something I would have preferred rather than focusing so much on small, focus more on the sickly. And then, I don't know if Chris Evans was in a lot of stuff before this, but then he could have flexed his acting a little bit. Instead of just been acting like a normal guy who's small, he could have, like, actually acted like something was wrong and given a reason, right? You know what I mean? But, again, that's just preference. That's not a big deal.
Yeah, because they put all that stuff on his medical record, but then it didn't show any of it, really.
Yeah, exactly.
He's prone to exhaustion, but he kept up with the entire platoon for half of their march.
Yeah.
Before Super Sauce? Nuh-uh.
But motherfucker was smart when it came to getting that flag down, getting a ride in.
Was he smart, or is he just average intelligence and everyone else was a fucking 8? They're like, I'm gonna climb the pole. And my first instinct I remember when I first watched the movie, I was like, why don't they just, like, knock the pole down? Like, they gotta get the flag up somehow or on the top, so it's gotta come down fairly easily.
Yeah.
Like, it's not, they don't have fucking Sergeant Jim just coming out every morning and every night climbing the goddamn 20-foot pole. They
have an actual monkey that they've trained to put the flag up. Climbs the pole, no problem. It's a real monkey.
That's classified. Yeah. We can't talk about that right now.
Sergeant Chimp.
Sergeant Nanners.
It's not so much a problem with this movie, but it's gonna be kind of a continuation error. Not error, but just like oversight in the next ones. Is the serum seemed to make him, like, he seemed to be of average intelligence before, and the serum seemed to increase his intelligence, which is fine in this movie. There's nothing that gives away that he shouldn't be. But then in the rest of the movies, he comes across as just like an actual retard. Like, he's just like, I get that reference, and that's like his big moment as he understands what someone is talking about, kind of thing, right? Like,
yeah, but he also had to, I mean, he was living in the future. Like, if you were dropped 75 years in the future right now, it would take you more than like a couple weeks to acclimate and learn everything that happened, right? That's what he was
Yeah,
trying to do.
the biggest jump for me was just he went from like never being in the army, getting the serum, and then after his whole like dancing monkey thing, he went to like flying a fucking plane and shit like immediately after that when he was flying the bomb that came from the Hydra thing. He just like hopped in that bitch, was like, yeah, I'm just gonna turn this thing around, I'm gonna dodge the fucking laser beams, and I'm gonna ram it right
Yeah.
into this plane's asshole. Like,
Yeah.
you could get smart, but I don't care how just naturally smart you become. You don't know how to fly a goddamn airplane like that.
You
Yeah.
stick, just
Yeah. I think for that it's also not so much like it definitely is Hollywood embellishment, but also you got to look at the time period that it is based off since it comes out of the Second World War. It's not as different. Like for the most part, an American plane and a German plane, like even though these are Hydra planes, they're pretty similar in builds. Other than like the German plane has like Dusseldorf or I don't know how to speak German,
Yeah, I
but it's
mean-
got something else like written on there. It's basically the same design. Whereas nowadays you get like a Russian spacecraft and an American spacecraft are completely different.
yeah.
type
Everyone's
of thing.
got their own proprietary shit now. But back in the day, it was like we have a design for a plane, and we're gonna go with that one. Just different looks on the outside. Everything on the inside is still just we
Yeah,
got stick and pedals.
and that'd be fine if he had flown a plane before. But that was the first time he'd ever been in the cockpit of a plane, as far as I'm aware. And
Yeah.
he's just like, I can fly this. This is fine.
Yeah,
That was just, again, just, it's not a huge thing. It doesn't break the movie, but it's just like, come on.
yeah. No, I definitely understand, and unfortunately with pretty much any movie, getting the idea of a time frame in the movie doesn't, so you don't actually know how long that they were fighting and getting, you just have to kind of guess how long it takes to get from Hydra base to Hydra base to blow them all up.
Yeah.
But so and they don't add it in, it's just sort of like, hey, all of a sudden you can do this. But yeah, it's the one thing with the super soldier serum was it builds, like, it makes whatever it has, either like it just enhances.
Yeah.
So even if he wasn't, I definitely agree in the other movies he is a bit more of a meathead, but he's also focused on like, this is what's right, like his
Yeah.
idea of right in that. But yeah, he definitely is a bit of a dummy when it comes to certain things. You're just like, oh my god.
Can you imagine being like an army soldier during World War II? Not an army soldier, sorry, like an army corporal. I don't know army ranks. Like one of the high up bitches. You use this serum and get the super soldier. He just like runs as fast as a car, takes out a goddamn submarine, and all this kind of bullshit in like moments after becoming a super soldier. And they're like, you know what we're gonna do? Infomercials.
Yeah.
Like, come on, you're in the middle of a world war. You just got a super weapon of sorts. You don't just send it to make money in infomercials. I mean, there'd definitely be some people that would do that, but it just sounds stupid as hell.
It was. I mean, it's America, capitalism.
Yeah.
Right? There's always going to be because I also think that guy wasn't in the army. He was a senator.
No, yeah, he was a senator.
So yeah, he was a politician. So of course, money,
Yeah.
money, money.
Yeah,
That was his
it's
first
like-
thought.
Yeah, and plus, each Bond bought is a bullet in the gun or your best guy.
We don't have a best guy.
Oh, that's
There's just one best guy, and he's just swimming in bullets. Everyone else
Yeah.
is like, God damn, I need help.
yeah, come on. I'm sorry, guys. I'm the best guy. Like,
You're
I'm that
from
foil
Fresno.
trading card. Everyone's got me, you know?
Sitting on a mountain of bullets. Bow to me.
I am the captain now.
Oh, another thing I wish they had like done something. Again, they could have done this with the whole like bonding thing with Bucky or whatever his name was. They should have made him like enjoy frisbee or something at the beginning of the movie, or just like anything. Put frisbee in there, because again, the serum like makes you stronger and makes you better at stuff, which is fine if you've done it before. But he went from like, I imagine, not throwing many frisbees to being able to like perfectly bank frisbees off of walls and like kill people with them and shit like that. Like, sketchiness is all I'm saying. If they had put like he was like really good at like ultimate frisbee or something stupid in the beginning, it would have like made it less like a sudden right turn into a new skill. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
I
he's
actually,
good with calculation.
I believe it is canon that Cap is the inventor of Ultimate Frisbee.
Yeah.
I get it a little bit. I think all of your complaints could probably be remedied with some uh, fuck, I can't think of the term. Basically, some shots of Steve's childhood.
Yeah, just some like extra backstory.
Yeah, because then you
Just
can be
like
like,
show him being sick and playing ultimate frisbee or something, or being that's the only thing he can do because it doesn't tire him out or something. Just like little things like that would just make the jumps later in the movie that much more realistic. And because I'm taking it as a mostly science fiction movie because they didn't explain the Tesseract whatsoever, it that would fit my preferred style of science fiction where they can actually like things are linked together, not just here's a serum, you're now god mode kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
yeah,
Now, in that was one of the things I wanted to bring up is your Tesseract thing. So I don't think they explain it so much in this one, just because
Mhm.
of the um, uh, era, like the time era that they were in. So it was mostly just Smith because they didn't know about all this energy either. But when it comes up to um, the first Avengers movie, it goes more in depth because
Yeah,
so that one. But yeah, definitely it's a little bit harder to believe. Like, hey, you just harness all these. But Dr. Zola was one of the big guys when it came down to it. I can't remember if he turned into anything.
a computer.
Yeah,
yeah. No, I don't mind like what they did with it and whatnot. I just would have liked to known more about it, right? Just like that, what it is in like at all kind of thing. Because you literally just watched an entire movie where you have no idea what the bad guys' weapons are in the slightest. Like what is powering them? They went from no tech, not no tech, but like World War II tech to shooting disintegrating lasers, and there was no like middle ground kind of thing. And they don't explain it at all. They're just like found box in a wall, lasers.
See, I think I agree with you somewhat. Like, I would like a little bit more information, but I'm also thinking that the Red Skull didn't know fully what it was. Like, he knew it was something to do with the gods because he called it the treasure of Odin's, or
the Jewel
the
of
jewel
Odin.
of Odin's treasure room.
Yeah.
So that shows that I don't think he knew actually what it was. All he knew it was like it was a massive source of energy, and he was going to try and turn it into a weapon. Um,
Yeah, and to remedy that, all they had to do was like during the scene when they like overloaded it and almost opened the realm to like wherever the fuck Loki goes, or wherever the fuck the Tesseract opens to. All they had to do was be like, "This thing has unlimited power. We could juice this thing and store it in our weird batteries and be able to power so many weapons." And then you'd just be like, just those two lines would be like, "Okay, this makes more sense." But instead, they're just like, we're extracting blue goo by the looks of it, and we're shooting that blue goo out. So if you didn't know what the Tesseract was, you could have thought it's just like a blue goo machine, right? Like there's no, it's not unreasonable to think that this Tesseract just makes blue goo.
I saw it more as energy, like the first time I watched it, and
Yeah,
even still, I see it
yeah,
more
no,
as energy.
you could definitely see it that way, but seeing it as blue goo also isn't an incorrect way of seeing it either, right? Because they just don't explain it.
Yeah, fair enough. Like I was just going based off, I guess, my own context or my own preconceptions based on like the experiment themselves or itself, because they had like capacitors. They were talking about if they had enough capacitors, the electricity like traveling through the lines. But I wanted to talk about the disintegration ray. I this hasn't been confirmed, but a lot of people have been talking about it over the years. Um, since the Tesseract is like a teleportation cube, pretty much like that, or a teleportation stone,
Yeah.
um, you can go anywhere. So I thought after me and Zach watched this movie, I was like, wait a minute, what if they're not actually dying? They're just getting sent all over the universe.
Is that the space stone that's in
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Tesseract?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you see later on in the movie, spoilers for future episodes, when Thanos gets it, or even Loki picks it up, but when Thanos gets it and he just zorps out of Thor's ship at the beginning of Infinity War. It's just to teleport you. So basically, it's called the Space Stone. It's one of the 6 Infinity Stones, and you can literally teleport anywhere you want using this stone.
That'd be a great like Easter egg type thing. That like in one of the other movies, I know in one of them, like Thor and the Hulk are like fighting in a coliseum or something weird like that. I think they should have had like a little colony of humans on that planet and been like, we all got teleported here in World War II. Some help.
That's what, like, I actually, if you know, or if you'll do me this favor, as you're watching the rest of these movies, keep an eye out whenever they're, like, showing something off-world for just, like, World War II people or people that are dressed up in, like, the World War II Hydra outfit. Because, like,
Well, technically they should be dead, right? Because that was 70 years in the past.
yeah, but I mean, like, they do have, like, cutscenes and stuff like that that are shown in the past, even, like, in outer space.
Yeah.
But just because, like, Marvel is sneaky like that.
Yeah, I'll definitely keep an eye out because I really like that theory that it's actually just like a teleportation thing, and they're harnessing the energy in a way they don't actually understand, and it's just fucking teleporting things away to like random parts of the universe. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, actually, thinking back now, when they first try to, like, activate the cube, it sort of shows the universe a little bit. So I guess maybe that
it
was like
almost
their
opens the
tiniest
realm,
hint.
right?
That
Yeah.
was all the conjecture that you got. And I they couldn't have explained it because, like, everyone didn't, or no one knew that it was an actual Infinity Stone until they found out about Thanos. Like, until then, they just thought it was the Tesseract, the cube, because that was like the housing of the stone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, the space stuff, and if that's even like canon or not, they definitely had no idea. So there's no way for them to explain it. I was just talking about the whole energy beams thing.
Yeah. But speaking of like keeping an eye out for things, especially when you're going through this watch through, Jeff, is it's good to remember the movies because there are constant references throughout the movies to other movies because it is built into it. So that'll help you as you go along in the chronological order to paying attention and understanding like why Cap had Thor's powers or what else is there? I think there's a few other things that are just different references to other parts, other movies, and certain scenes in the movies. So, but we've focused on a few things. Let's talk about the villain of the movie, the Red Skull.
Oh, that was my next point.
Perfect. This villain is one of Cap's biggest villains throughout the comic books. Is the Red Skull. The actor that did the job is Hugo Weaving, and he did a fantastic job. I honestly think the makeup was pretty good for the most part. Now, this is coming from someone who doesn't read the comic books. I just look up stuff when it throughout, just because I didn't have we didn't have the money as kids to get these comic books. But I love the Red Skull. I love the actor that did it, and his the villain himself was pretty decent throughout this movie.
My very first note is, why is that guy got scars on his ears? So I called that he had a weird face.
I think they could have been a little bit more ruthless with him because, like, he's supposed to be worse than Nazis, right?
Yeah.
From my understanding, you just don't see it. Like, he's teleporting people. He is fairly ruthless. Like, after he gets the cube from the wall, he'd promised the guy, he's like, yeah, once you tell me, I'll take the cube and I'll leave. Everyone in the village will be fine. As soon as he gets the cube, shoot everyone.
Yeah.
But that's like, to me, that's not a step above, right? Like, that's something that a Nazi would do.
I mean, to be fair, literally everyone other than the doctor, he killed, right? Like, there's not a whole lot of people that were ever around him that are still alive. He shot his own people probably more than he shot his enemies, right? So I found him as pretty ruthless, but he wasn't in any like, oh, I have to torture this person kind of situations, or I'm gonna kill this kid in front of its mother kind of situations. Just, I'm surrounded by a bunch of, as I see them, incompetent adults, so I'm just gonna kill them, right? He's ruthless, not sadistic, is how I saw him.
Yeah, he's just using like it's everything is a means to the end. Like whatever, yes,
Mhm.
he will do whatever it needs to be. I think now this so this was still early on in the Marvel, like I don't want to call it a test phase, but definitely still early on because Iron Man just came out and they took a big risk on Iron Man, and even having a post credit scene in Iron Man, sort of teasing the next movie. So they came out at a time where superhero movies weren't doing like super good. Like there's definitely Batman Begins, but that was the main thing. There wasn't any too much Marvel except for the X-Men that Fox was doing, and everyone those were all things that people loved. But they were taking chances on these heroes and these big productions. So I think that's another reason why they had the Red Skull or had it not be so um, much of a battle, and more the Red Skull is more like a methodical villain, sort of like Doctor Doom in that sense, where he's got the power, he can back it up, but he's more just like tactician based rather than Thanos, who's just like, yeah, I'll fucking kill you, like I'll brawl, I'll I'll break the Hulk's collarbone for no reason with a poke.
To be fair, Thanos is a demigod, right?
Yeah.
Still
Um,
Or a
bullshit.
Titan, whatever.
Yeah, but so and the other thing is I think because Kevin Feige is a genius when it comes to this kind of stuff, and the way his love for the projects themselves. I think he had an idea of where he wanted this path to lead to, and so when you have that idea and when you're leading it towards such a big villain as Thanos, you don't want your other villains to sort of be that big. So then all of a sudden, just like you're not building like a you're not walking up a mountain to the peak where you're gonna find Thanos. It's more just like, holy shit, this is an unreal villain. Oh shit, there's another one. So I don't want to say it diminishes the value of Thanos as a villain, but it would definitely, I think, tire you out more if all of a sudden you're just like, holy fuck, supervillain after supervillain. Like, let's go.
Yeah, well, that's the problem with like superhero movies and anime and whatnot in general, right? Like I'm lumping anime in here, and you'll understand why. Is power creep. There's like you said, if you start with a human and then next it's like a demigod in Loki, and then after that it's a Titan and Thanos. Then after that, maybe you can go up to like Galactus or something like that. But eventually, you're gonna have to start fighting the lessers again. You're gonna run out of the super people, and then you're just like, well, they beat Thanos, they have to be able to beat Jimmy Two Shoes, right? Like, and that's a thing they do in anime a lot is just like constant power creep. And then when an old enemy or something comes back, they have to be like, oh my god, super juiced 9,000 through 17 different cyborg enhancements and whatnot to keep up with the fact that he got beat in season one and we're on season seven again, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean, well, Marvel's pretty good about that. Like, they always come up with something to buff the villain. Like, it was Doctor Doom. He was just regular Doctor Doom. He was an evil billionaire, and then he got superpowers or something like that. And then at one point he had like the Infinity Gauntlet. At one point he was a literal god.
Yeah.
Like the comic books themselves are a lot better at that. The reason I was saying I wanted him more brutal is because the character itself, like from what we saw, like however short it was, of the before the serum, like I was assuming he was the exact same. Like he was in the Nazi party, so obviously he's a piece of shit.
Nice.
And then he took the serum, and it's supposed to boost everything regardless. So he was supposed to get like hyper evil. I am thinking that like they may have not had time to go into it, like because I mean his master plan was to blow up the entire fucking world, which is pretty hardcore. But and I do realize that it wasn't like a rated R movie. Like I think I'd prefer darker superhero movies.
Yeah.
Like honestly, I don't know if they did it in the comic books, like if they did a darker version of the comic book where like the Red Skull, one of his things, this is horrible that I thought of this, but like in the village, instead of like kill them, be like, all right, do the thing, turn them into Red Skull, just off with the face.
Yeah. I don't know about the comics. I do know in Old Man Logan, so that comic book, where basically in that one the super villains all team up, and then they take over the U.S. and then it's all divided. But you see the Red Skull has Washington, and he's like walking around and like he's got Cap's head decapitated, and he's wearing his mask and his old suit, and like it's pretty gruesome there. Yeah, it seemed like more so. It definitely gave him the strength of the super soldier serum, but I think what they more focused on as enhancement was his obsession with power. Like he wants that power, and that's one of the things why he was attacking all those cities, is to make sure that Hydra spread throughout, so he would just conquer the entire world. So his obsession with power almost seemed like it grew more, and that's why he created Hydra. Like he was the leader of Hydra and stuff like that. But yeah, it definitely, they shot themselves in the foot with the hey, this serum enhances everything except in this guy.
Yeah, like I would have just liked to see maybe a little more mania, because although I guess if you're intelligent, like just a little more evil from him.
Yeah.
But then I do realize that it would contradict the rating of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jordan brought up an answer to my one question too. It's like Red Skull, he's supposed to have like a red skull, right? Like he's not supposed to be fleshy or anything like that. But they also really can't do that because it's not a rated R movie, so they have this like half fleshy, half skull thing up there, and to me, Red Skull looked really weird. And basically, it's like their halfway point because it's not a rated R movie, so they couldn't have him all gory and whatnot. So it makes sense to me now that Jordan said that. I didn't consider that before.
Yeah, which makes it tough. Luckily, they are working on like a rated R section of Marvel, with Moon Knight coming out, who's more of a rated R. Deadpool's finally going to be in the MCU, with Ryan Reynolds helming that again, because if you cast anyone other than Ryan Reynolds, you're a fool for that character.
No one's going to the movie because Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool.
Yeah.
We've completely forgiven him for that other Green movie.
Yeah. And then one of the other things is they're going to have difficulty is once they bring in the X-Men, is replacing Wolverine. But regardless, they're bringing in Blade. They were going to redo Blade again, which is another rated R thing. So, hey, don't make that noise. This is going to be...
I don't like vampires.
Why not?
Did you guys notice at 1 hour, 33 minutes, and 6 seconds...
No.
Cap was going into the one Hydra base, and he was on like his motorcycle, and he shot a tank thing with his rockets or whatever, and then he like jumped the wall into the base.
Yeah.
Well, they shot at him, they missed, which I mean it's obvious, whatever, and then an explosion happened like way off in the distance, and some guy on the left of the screen never got hit by anything. The shockwave wasn't enough to knock him over or anything. He just like fucking fell over for no reason. It was hilarious. I rewound it and watched it again.
He's got the same heart condition that Steve's got. So he's like, oh god, they're shooting.
He's like one of those fainting goats.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, if at that point, because like that was like the last base, right?
Yeah.
So at that point, you know who Captain America is.
Yeah.
Well, either it was the last base or it was later on in it. So at that point, like you know who Captain America is. If I saw him just fucking ride a motorcycle into the front door, I think I'd probably just lay down too.
What movie was that? Was it Captain America: Winter Soldier? Where it ends up being like a bunch of this dude's guys get like beat up, and then he just puts down his gun and like lays on the ground.
No, it's Austin Powers.
Was it Austin Powers? Oh yeah.
He's like insulting the goon. Then he's like, just lay down, just don't. Don't. And
Michael Caine's character
slowly goes down.
You probably don't even have a name. You got a name tag. Yeah. All right. What do you guys think a super soldier serum would do to you?
Make me taller. My calves would be massive.
It would make me omega depressed.
Oh god, yeah.
Shit.
Holy fuck.
Okay. I do want to. I want to counterpoint that with me, anyways. I don't know. Like, I would be so fucking sad, but could you imagine how funny I'd be?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh
Like,
my god.
it's the trade-off. Like, I am constantly have a razor blade in my pocket, but also like I'm funnier than anyone.
Bro,
I am the Emmys.
you've got enhanced healing though.
Yeah, so I mean, I'd just be
like
yeah,
nicking yourself.
it's in my pocket. You know,
Yeah.
just cutting my leg. I can't fucking die. You guys want to see something funny? Just tries to snap my own neck. It didn't work. It still hurts. That's how Deadpool came to be.
All right. For anyone who's out there, it's okay to make depression jokes. These are just jokes for all legal purposes. These are jokes.
Probably.
Don't worry about it.
Probably.
Jordan's missing from the next episode. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, we're probably okay. But just a heads up.
Hey, I'm still here.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Did you just say unlucky?
No.
Okay.
Fuck it.
What about you, Zach?
Oh, and have a Magnum dong.
4
It does
inches of
make short
fury.
people tall, that's for sure.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Could you imagine if I had 6 inches? The damage I could
Jesus.
do. Oh my god.
I don't want to imagine that.
Yeah, don't think about my pee-pee.
I'm not.
Jeff,
I'm
stop
trying
thinking
not
about my
to.
pee-pee.
You keep talking about it.
I'm not. Don't
Just
worry.
fucking do what you normally do. Do what you did back in high school. Just text Jeff privately about your PPs.
Yo, is this normal? Is this rash gonna go away?
Today, I swear, I almost didn't have to push everything around it in to get it out.
It's like a turtle.
It was more like a Hershey's chocolate kiss instead of a thin little wafer.
Thin mints.
After 8.
No.
I'm uncomfortable.
I think with it, like, I'd definitely be smarter.
Unlucky.
I'd be more sarcastic. My tolerance for people would just be gone. Like, I already have a hard
you
enough
get
time.
fired.
Oh, immediately. I'd be fired immediately from the dildo renting factory.
It's a whole factory now. Jesus.
Oh yeah, we're massive.
Stepping up production.
But yeah, would you now? Okay, knowing that it does enhance it, would you take it?
No.
Just because you get super sad?
No, it
Or
has nothing
just
to do
'cause-
with super sad. It's because
Yeah.
then I would be government property and I can't do what I want.
Fair enough.
If
Be
I could, like,
Isaiah.
See, what I would have done different if I was Steve Rogers is I would have chased after the German guy, but I would have left. I would have taken the sub and just cruised. Where are you going? Cuba. Why? It's mine. What is Castro gonna do? I'm gonna pop his fucking head.
Yeah.
Have my
Yeah.
own island.
I don't think I don't know. Maybe it's the reliableness. Like pretty much. Like if you. Maybe is it the guilt? I think it would be the guilt because having it, and then just having people being like, "Hey, you're super powered. Like you're juiced. Why didn't you save that person?" I'm like, "Well,
Why didn't
here's
you?
the thing. I don't know them. I don't care. I don't think you realize like."
I have super apathy.
Yeah, just the just having that knowledge, being like if you have these powers, it's like the Spider-Man. Like with great powers comes great responsibility. Like if you have these powers, you have to you need to do something with them. So I don't want that responsibility.
I'm gonna do a bunch of shit, but most of it's just gonna benefit me.
I'll be the manager of whoever. Like, hey,
I'd
you want this guy?
immediately end up in jail.
Yeah.
No jail could contain you, bro.
Then they just like put me down or something because
That's awesome, too.
I hate humans so much, and then you fucking give me that shit. I'm just like going outside and punching the first person to even look at me, probably.
First thing that happens if Jeff was in the movie, the German agent wouldn't have got a chance to like shoot them and steal the serum. Jeff would have like out of it, just start mauling everyone. Bring me my shoes!
He'd be like Wolverine when he gets fucking.
Just
When he first, he's like, yeah,
screaming.
erase his memory. Jeff's just like, nah, bitch. Although, yeah, it's off of fucking Men in Black 3. No prison can contain me. It's that fucking Boris the Animal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely. We definitely got way off topic, but it's.
I don't think the super soldier serum is a thing the human race, honestly, it could use.
Yeah.
Because it would be abused, like everything.
Be more dictatorships than literally everything.
Nuclear power. What do we use that for? Bombing the shit out of Japan.
Yeah.
And then we're like, ooh, probably shouldn't have done that. Let's sign an agreement to say we're not going to do this to each other.
But we'll still make them.
Yeah, we're still going to mass produce them. United States. But don't use them, or else it's not even an agreement at this point. It's basically just like, you hit that button, I'm going to hit my button, and then they're going to hit their buttons, and then this guy's going to hit his button, and then we're all going to fucking die.
Yeah.
Now, if they made the serum, but instead of it just like blanketing over everything, you could like target specific things. Like you could get a serum to make you super strong, or a serum to make you super fast, or super smart, or whatnot. What one would you take and why?
World's strongest ankles.
God damn it!
Yeah, it's.
I just wanted to, like, could you imagine me walking fucking like 19-inch pumps? My calves would be like into the next street.
You'd be the ultimate supermodel.
I'd be like Patrick from the SpongeBob
You would constantly
movie.
be like, those are the greatest videos in the world when supermodels are strutting down the runway, and then all of a sudden the heel starts going, and then they just start, and they're trying so hard to keep the walk going, but their legs are just fucking everywhere. It's like a dead fish. Well, a mostly dead fish.
I'd be walking with my ankles on a 90-degree angle almost.
Yeah. How do you do that?
I come out of the forest at night.
Oh God, it's a Wendigo.
No, I probably wouldn't take the intelligence. I'd probably go for the super speed, if anything. Now, you're probably wondering, why wouldn't you take the intelligence? Here's the thing. There are a lot of people that I am smarter than. And
not it.
The people that I am smarter than, for the most part, I find kind of irritating. Just because, and it's not even their fault, it's just that their brain doesn't work the same as mine. But in my head, when I explain something, it's like, no, like, you should get this. Like, this is simple. Like, I don't understand. And so if I was smarter than everyone, then I'd have a constant problem where, like, I literally can't talk to someone because I'd be like, how do you not understand? I am saying hello. I don't know how you can't grasp this. This is fucked.
You're just coming across as real fucking incel-y right now. Sorry. Like, that's how the brain of an incel would work. Oh, greetings, my fair lady. And then there's like, what the fuck?
No.
Oh, you don't understand me.
No, not that. That was just like a base example. But even just normal conversations, I feel like it would bore me. And I don't want that because I like talking and interacting with people. But the super speed, I can just get places like no problem. Absolutely, I'm taking speed.
Skin.
Super skin?
Durability, right? So if I pump the
so.
shit out of my skin, so I got like elephant or rhino skin, and I can absorb anything. I am the vibranium. Which, I mean, I hope I never get sick or need a needle, because the only way they're getting in there is in my eye or my rectum.
Yeah.
And I don't want to show the doctor my bumhole.
Again.
I'd probably do like
Also got lost.
hand-eye coordination. That sounds really weird.
You just
but
really want to juggle.
No,
balls?
but just like I play a lot of video games, and hand-eye coordination would make you just like unreal at shooters, and just like everything else in the world, just like building something, like hammer and nails, playing baseball, playing badminton, tennis, all that kind of stuff. That's all like super hand-eye coordination, right? And I was thinking, I agree with Zach. I don't want to be the smartest person in the world, because then you're just like, you have nothing to work towards, right? Strength doesn't interest me, speed doesn't interest me, kind of thing. So it's just like, I'd probably just go with something that you can use on a day to day, like hand-eye coordination, and just like call it a day, right?
Yeah, I could definitely tell whenever we would go to like be like, hey, can we let's play some CS:GO after we've taken years off of Counter Strike Source, and Jeff's just like, I'm not having fun. I suck at shooters so bad.
I used to be so good, and
Yeah.
now I'm just like super trash.
I don't know. I think being super smart would be all right, because like I'll solve all the world's problems.
Now people.
Except you can't because it's not intelligence that actually gets things done. It's money, right?
Yeah, but with intelligence, I can earn money. Like I would play the stock markets like a fiddle. I would be one of the probably many secret billionaires that their names do not exist on this world.
Jeffrey Bezos.
And his name exists. No, I'm talking about like the secret millionaire or billionaires.
You'll
that
be
you don't know
Jeffrey
about.
Bezos.
No, I'm not changing my name.
Oh,
And as for
Stephen Humphrey.
the not like having anyone that you can relate to, like being the smartest one on the planet, nothing to work towards other planets.
I don't want to spread the human filth to other planets.
No, not the human filth, just you.
Yeah.
Because you can.
I am a
100%,
human filth.
You can milk the government and be like, okay, I'm just I can build you the fastest spaceship in the world. You can get to another planet in like 4 days, and then they're okay. We'll do it, but it's a one-seater, and I'm gone, and I meet the most violent race of. This is me role playing as Jeff. I meet the most violent race of aliens. Be like, hey guys, guess what? This is a message from the humans. Fuck you. Now follow me home. And then you would sit in your space pod and watch the Earth be consumed by the reptilians.
Honestly, if I was like actually the smartest person on the planet and had the resources to like go to space and all that kind of shit, I'd probably just use the resources to find a way to kill the humans without affecting the wildlife.
Wait.
Just wait.
That's how you do it. Just wait. Like
Patience.
15, 20 years.
Yeah.
We got this, man. We're record fucking speed. We're on a speed run right now.
Are we like seconds to midnight on the doomsday clock right now?
Milliseconds, I think,
Yeah.
at this point. Like, they literally said, I think, within 10 years. 10
Yeah.
years is the tipping point where it literally will not be possible.
Yeah.
We will have to start working on something off-world.
Speaking of the smartest person in the world,
Yes?
what'd you guys think of Stark Senior finding this unknown weapon, or being given this unknown weapon by Captain, and the first thing he does is run electricity through it and blow it up? That doesn't seem like the smartest person in the room kind of a move to me.
That's how you become the smartest person in the room.
Yeah.
I gotta figure out what this does.
By
I'm
killing
gonna zap
everyone
it.
else in the room.
Exactly.
They're not smarter than me. They're not worth it. I will use them as meat shields.
Except he was the one that took the brunt of it.
Yeah, but they also had, like, I'm assuming it was supposed to be bulletproof glass.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
looks
it just struck me as funny. This guy
Yeah.
makes bombs. He's just like, I don't know what this does. Let's hit it with electricity while I'm 10 feet away from it.
He's a mad scientist. You gotta do it. You gotta zap it. Next
Now,
was
did you
fire.
guys watch in 1080p? I imagine so.
Oh yeah.
How was the like glare from the Tesseract objects and weapons? On mine, it was extremely horizontal and sometimes glared to the point it like distorted the image a bit. And maybe that was just the fact I wasn't watching in 1080p.
It could be ours. We did on Disney Plus, where you can find
Yeah.
all these wonderful Marvel movies, and so I think it preloaded at like 4K.
Oh.
And I adjusted the TV because my TV for some reason was like super dark for unknown reasons. So it definitely seemed like it went more out horizontally, not like fully like the glow wasn't all around the cube. But I honestly think that is the brightest you'll see the Tesseract in any of the movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never understood why it was so fucking bright in this movie, like compared to
It's
any
the age.
other iteration.
It aged 70 years, so it got a little duller.
It just
The
lost a
other
little bit of
movies,
its
yeah.
spark. Like I get if they did it like when he was handling it for the first time, like actually holding the physical cube. I get that point. Like sure, fucking glow blue like there's no tomorrow. But before that, when it's just chilling, like Every other time it's shown, literally, it's not glowing.
Yeah.
Other than
So
maybe
wait,
like a light hue.
Sorry, this might be a spoiler for a future movie. Is Red Skull dead, or did he just teleport somewhere?
That is a
his
spoiler.
Yeah.
okay, so he's alive. All right,
No, that's a
thanks.
spoiler.
Yeah. Anyways, we've actually gone over our hour mark because we're having a.
Hold on, I have a couple more points
Okay.
of
Fast.
things I didn't like.
You say one and I'll refute it. Go.
Okay, Red Skull, while he's a genius, he's also classic movie idiot. He has all these people shooting a captain, and then once they overwhelm him, instead of just killing the one guy that can foil his plans, he's like, all right, capture him and bring him to me so I can monologue.
No,
I fucking hate when they do that.
Gotta cap him yourself because I'm the only smart person here, the only one that can get the job done. Next.
No, I hate it.
Fuck you, you're stupid. Next.
Captain Shield bounces off people because of vibranium faux bullshit, right? But then at the very end, he throws it at Red Skull, and it the first time he threw it at Red Skull, it bounced, no problem, same as everywhere else. The second time he threw it at Red Skull, it hit him so hard and continued through to break the Tesseract machine. Why did it just suddenly decide to not bounce that time?
He threw it with more of a spin than usual, so it spun on him. Every time before it would like hit them, he was going counterclockwise, and now it's clockwise. Bounced off and then like pinged away
And go in.
instead of just absorbing everything.
At the very end, 2 points for the very end. Steve is in control of the most powerful weapons on the planet that they know of. And the like army colonel's just like, okay, these two are in love. I'm gonna walk away and not get the coordinates of where he's dropping this thing to let them say their goodbyes. You're an army general, and those literally could end the world. And you're just like, no, these two are in love. I'm gonna walk away. No, just push the bitch out of the way and find out where he's bringing it down so that you can neutralize the weapons or get them yourself.
That one might take a little bit longer, but I'm just gonna say quick. I don't know if Steve knew exactly where he was, other than just like because he had the rough map, no exact location, and he didn't have the coordinates, just like the map.
Yeah, not knowing the exact coordinates is fine, but just being like, okay, I'm coming into New York from northwest. I'm over the Arctic right now. I'm bringing it down in the Arctic. If it took them like 70 years to find him, they had no idea where he was.
Yeah, well, I mean, they also went off like the energy signature, but since the Tesseract fell out of the plane, the plane had no power, so it was basically just drifting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, that's all fine. And then the last one, I'm not 100% sure on this one, but the bombs all seem to be like man driven, right? Like they each had their own little. This one's for New York, this one's for Chicago, and they all had like the men had to get in them and whatnot. Why did you have to crash the plane? There wasn't a timer going on. You were just like driving towards New York. Just take it off of autopilot, turn it around, and go somewhere else with it. Like you don't have what's it called? You don't have power or whatever, so you are going to fucking fall eventually. But why just like nosedive? Why not try and like land it in the Arctic instead of just like, well, suicide mission, I'm coming down?
I feel like a plane of that size without any power would be impossible to do anything but try and go down slowly as possible. Like there's
slowly as possible. He just fucking reefed the things forward, so it just nosedived.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
Because of the damage that those bombs could do. Maybe in his mind, he was just like, I just need to put this basically down, destroy it as quickly as possible. Because if I put it down somewhere, there's a chance that they're going to use these weapons again for something else. Which, spoiler alert for future movies, kind of happens with S.H.I.E.L.D. But, yeah. All right, so...
Is that a movie? Is that part of the movie?
Yeah.
Or is that like the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show?
No, it is part of the movie. We'll see it shortly. So we got Jeff's 5.5.
Yeah. Let's go 5 order just to be safe.
5. Oh my god. Shit. What do you got, Jordan?
I'm gonna go with a 7. It's thoroughly enjoyable. I really enjoy the MCU. This isn't one of my favorite ones, but it's not one of the worst ones of the series.
Yeah.
Definitely watch it. Definitely watch the MCU in order. Take a couple days off work and fucking just do it.
Yeah.
If you're in Canada, go to the dispensary, stock up, Go to the grocery store, get a Dr. Pibb, and just watch all of the MCU.
Yeah. I'm going with an 8. Pretty much, most of this MCU is going to get high ratings from me, regardless. I absolutely love these movies, not just for the comic books, but because the storytelling is good, and the fact that this is one of a kind. The way that they have done this, having 24 movies build up together to reach that final peak and that final finale, will never be done again except by the MCU when they do the build up again to the next one. But yeah, it's definitely an 8 from me, which brings our final rating
to a 7, because I don't want to fucking do bullshit half numbers.
7. Perfect. So this one gets a 7 from us. We're actually going to mark it on the board. So there's 24 movies in the MCU watch through that we'll be doing. We're actually going to do 25 episodes of this, where on the 25th we're going to take whatever ratings that we gave the MCU and sort of rank the ones from worst to best. And then we'll go through and talk about other superhero movies. By the time we're done this, we'll actually see if there is any, if we're feeling any fatigue from superhero movies, or if we're still looking forward to more coming out. Let us know what you guys thought about the Captain America First Avenger movie on Twitter @ByRailside, or on Instagram by the Railside. And you can also join us in Discord. We have links to that either in our Twitch chat or on Twitter. And you can join us on Twitch, where we're actually going to be streaming most of these podcasts now. We don't have a set date yet, but we'll let you know on Twitter whenever we are going to be doing it. And then you can interact with us in the chat, and then join us afterwards to while we stream, and then and tell us what you guys thought, and if we can help out with any of the production things to make this a little bit better. Other than that, our next movie is going to be Captain Marvel. That is the next one in the series, starring Brie Larson. So we'll get
I already have acquired this one.
Excellent. So we'll join that. Other than that, you guys take care. Be safe out there, and make sure you watch this MCU series. Watch it with us.
Cunt.
Yeah.
Cunt.
Yeah, use the word cunt.
Cunt.
It's great. And yeah.
Cunt to the moon.